I wake up every morning about 5:30, 6 o'clock. First thing I do is grab my phone and start going through the feeds and trying to respond, answer questions, thank people for posting, things like that. So like, again, after this feed is over, if you shared this, I'm going to probably come by and thank you. Other people that follow her, because she's got a lot of famous people following her, they're going to see your words. Again, that's how you start getting engagement, and that's what it's all about.
Yes, I mean, if you want to create a name for yourself, you have to go out of the box and you have to go where the activity is. So absolutely. But 100%, social media is about creating a relationship, and there's no way to create a relationship if you're just talking at somebody all the time. I mean, can you imagine being in a relationship with a woman and all she ever does is talk? I mean, you would just be like, can I just get a word in, right? So it has to be a conversation, and that's why one of our taglines for Boss Media is create a conversation. You need to be the starting point of a conversation that's going to go beyond you, that other people are going to have between themselves when you're not even around. So I think the bottom line is a great point for that, is that people will see a bottom line, maybe the one about Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. And I've talked about that outside of just talking to you. So you've created a conversation that lives beyond you. And that's what social media is really about, sparking a conversation between people who might not even know you.
So ultimately, quit paying for followers that don't engage, because they're kind of worthless unless you're just looking to pump up your ego. If you're looking to pump up your bank account, you need to be consistent and bring value and make posts that people actually want to hear. You need to be authentic with your message. So again, go do a little self-assessment. Look at your feed and determine whether or not you've been doing these things. If you haven't been, like a tip she gave this morning, go through your feed and see what people did engage with and make more of that type of thing. It's not a ham sandwich or what you ate for lunch.
I was just talking to a guy in your office, actually, right here, who told me that the posts that he does with his wife and children get the best engagement.
Brad Lee with Benji Bruce.
What up?
Coming to you live on the old Facebook television. I call Facebook television because it's the new TV, man. You can put out a program any damn time you want to. And so I decided, since Benji was in the office, to come in here and do a live broadcast with you guys. Benji Bruce, in case you don't know, is like the most unbelievable mentalist on the planet. A hell of an entrepreneur in his own right, but a mentalist by trade. Is that right?
Yeah. Just doing a lot of mind reading shows for a lot of companies, and it's pretty much, I just tell people what they're thinking of. So I just go on a stage and I say, think of this.
What am I thinking
of an
about?
object. Well, I don't know yet.
I'm thinking about money. I'm thinking about money, and I'm also thinking about how can this little live help people that are watching or will watch it on a replay.
Yeah, and so, all right, so here's the thing. The way this can help everybody is, even though I'm a mentalist, for every hour I spent practicing mind reading.
I'm mental.
Yeah, you a little bit, but it's
he's a mentalist and I'm just mental.
Yeah, for every hour I spent practicing, I spent 3 hours doing marketing. So I'm actually a better marketer than I am a mentalist.
Ooh, good. Hey, marketing. Everybody can use marketing. I mean, marketing.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up.
What it is, folks. Hey, listen, we're live on Facebook. I wanted to bring you this guy. He's popped into my offices, and I was talking to him in the client lounge, and I thought, man, I've got to share what you do with my people. You see, we're always talking about success. We're always talking about things that you have to do in order to find success. We're always talking about getting up early, kicking ass, taking names, eating right, learning. But one thing we hardly ever talk about, and I don't hear anyone talk about, is how important credit is. You see, here's the thing. If you don't have good credit, you're kind of like screwed. I mean, you're not able to get advantages that people with good credit have. I know when I was growing up, no one taught me about credit. Schools don't teach you about how important credit is. No. So as you guys are driving around out there, hopefully watching this, share this, because this is good for everyone, even if you have good credit. But how important is credit in today's economy? Well, I think it's massively important. I think you can get advantages that you couldn't normally get without good credit. Any kind of marks on your credit, any kind of tax liens, any kind of collections can screw somebody big time. You could have a fairly decent job making, 80 to 100 grand a year, and live like you're making 400 grand a year. You can get loans from a bank to fund things. You can, buy multifamily properties. You can do a lot of things with credit. And if you don't have good credit, you're screwed. So I'm talking to Rondi Lambeth, and this guy is the CEO of Fortress Credit Pro. We're going to make sure we put up his address. We'll be talking to him here for the next few minutes, but I wanted to make sure that you understand the importance of this. So share this stream out, hit the love button, hit the likes button as we go along so a lot of people get this message. So I'm going to introduce Rondi Lambeth. How you doing, buddy? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Facebook Live.
All right.
So Rondi runs, he's the CEO, started and founded Fortress Credit Pro, founded in 2007. He happens to be from Oregon, John Day, Oregon, where old Brad Lee's from. We didn't know each other, but now we do. He's a certified FICO credit professional, licensed pilot, retired fireman, badass on the gun range. He's a distinguished graduate at Front Sight, which is a firearms training here in Las Vegas, Nevada. He's a father of 3, grandfather of 1. So everybody throw out the likes and the love to Mr. Rondi Lambeth. And David, is everybody sharing this out?
Yeah, we got some people sharing this out.
Okay, we'll be answering your questions. But listen, the importance of credit is beyond people's imagination. They should be teaching it in school. They should be teaching it. Your parents should be warning you. I try to warn my kids all the time, pay your damn bills, man. You look like a bum. You don't pay your credit. You got marks on your credit. You can't get the simple stuff in life. The simple things, like a nice car, like a reliable car, like a place to live. Sometimes you have to pay cash. That ain't good.
No, and it's 70% of employers now check credit. So if you got messed up credit report, 70% of the employers could deny you a job because of not your credit score, but your credit report.
Yeah.
Because you can tell a lot. I can tell a lot about someone when I look at their credit report.
Yeah, you look like a bum.
Yeah.
You look like someone that
Very
doesn't have any
irresponsible.
commitment. Yeah,
And
no
you don't want an
responsibility.
irresponsible employee, and then you don't want collection companies calling you at work either.
Well,
So everything
That's
costs more with
embarrassing.
bad credit. Gas, groceries, your cell phone, electric
interest
bill,
rates.
interest. But a lot of people, when I do my radio show and they'll call and they're like, well, I don't want to get a loan. I don't want to go in debt. And I tell them, you're losing money every month because of your bad credit. Your cell phone costs more. Your coffee costs more. Your clothes cost more. And the reason it costs more is when you use like your Amex card or your Capital One, you get 2 to 5% back. So when you go and get gas, when I drove over here in my vet today, I had to get gas, $3 a gallon. I paid with my Amex. I save 5%, 15 cents a gallon. So
I didn't know that.
yeah, instead of me putting a debit card in or paying cash, I put in my Amex, I'm now paying $2.85 a gallon versus $3
Or
a
was it
gallon.
automatically come off the
Yeah, they just take it off your bill.
Huh.
Yeah, so I mean,
I
put your
didn't even know
electric
that.
bill
I got
on,
an
your
American
internet
Express,
bill.
but I never use it.
Yeah.
Not at the gas station.
Yeah, so you put it in there. I mean, everything costs more with bad credit. Everything.
Yeah, and that's a fact. And not just does it cost more, because there's big spenders out there that don't give a rat's ass about price tags and coupons.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up.
Sebastian, let's go to you.
Yeah, what modes of training should each store and department have access to?
I think they should have access to all modes of training. I mean, there's live training, there's virtual training. They should all have light speed regardless. That's a fact. But if I had to pick, it would be virtual training only because it's scalable. You can provide the repetition on demand at everybody's schedule. You can interactively train somebody based on who they are, what they need, what they lack in skills. But it's not just one size fits all. But I believe that they should have access to all modes of training. What you guys are doing in that room. I mean, live training is valuable. You can build relationships, ask questions that a virtual course wouldn't allow you to. But at the same token, you guys will leave that room and probably within a month forget half of what was talked about. If we created a module based on everything you learned in that room, the perfect would be a blend where you come in live, you meet people, you build relationships, you train, you ask questions, you interact, you role play, and then when you leave, you have access for the repetitive access to the information. and then ultimately test the people to understand. Because if you don't understand what it is you learned, the training's worthless, regardless of the mode or the way that that you had it delivered.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up.
Yep, I think we're live. Folks, today I had to bring you somebody that came into the office. This guy, you better right now share, just blindly share it out, blindly pass it on. I don't care if it's your friend, cousin, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, employer, it doesn't matter. You're going to want to hear what this guy has to say. Today, I've got Weldon Long in the Lightspeed VT studios. Welcome.
Brad, thank you so much for having me.
Man, my pleasure.
Honor to meet you.
Man, you guys, I'm excited to be talking to Weldon today. He wrote a book called The Power of Consistency, actually praise for the power of consistency. However, if you haven't read this book already, you need to get this book, and you need to get the book right away. Where do they get this book?
Amazon's probably the least expensive, quickest way to get it. Bookstores have it, but Amazon, you can't go wrong with Amazon. They sell books cheaper than I can buy them from my publisher, so I don't know how they do that.
You guys go to Amazon, Google the name Weldon Long, The Power of Consistency, and get the book. And the reason why I say that is because, as we all know, I fancy myself as a hustler, an entrepreneur, a businessman, and everybody that follows me kind of knows that. Everybody that follows me, I also think, wants to hustle, make money, build dreams, that type of thing. This gentleman with me today, unbelievable story, and I'm going to shut up here in a minute and let him start talking. But I need you to share this out right now. If you can share this out, I'm telling you, you're going to be blessing a lot of people. Weldon Long. I cannot believe he's here willing to talk to you guys. I snagged him from the airport. I appreciate you staying because I have some people that, they'll ask me questions like, well, how do I get past this? My girlfriend's cheating on me. Right. Or, hey, I can't really, get past the challenge of, not having enough money or as much money as I'd like, or my car's having problems, or whatever, normal everyday challenges people have. And they literally find themselves frustrated and confused and blocked, and they give up. So tell them a little bit about what kind of challenges you've had.
Well, Brad, again, I appreciate you having me in. It's great to be in Vegas and get a chance to meet with you face to face. I've been a fan of yours for a long time. And I got to tell you, what you're talking about is really the key to the whole thing. We all have challenges in life, right? Everybody in life has problems. In fact, we have the same exact 3 problems. Everybody on this planet has money problems, relationship problems, and health problems at some point. And the real challenge, the real question, I suppose, is what are we going to do about it? My story really begins on May 11th of 1987. At the time, I was a 23-year-old kid, and I was a 9th grade high school dropout. I'd been living, kind of hand to mouth for 7 or 8 years since I was a teenager. I was kind of a punk and kind of a thug. And in 1987, I found myself living in Denver, Colorado. And
no, I want you to tell them your story, not my story.
Well, you can interject.
Because right there we were sounding like, wait a minute, is he talking about me?
Yeah. Well, this might be an episode of Dumb and Dumber then. We'll have to, or maybe Dumb and Dumber got smarter and smarter. I don't know. But I didn't have the rent money, so what I was doing was out driving around the east side of Denver, Colorado, trying to pawn a shotgun that I'd been given as a gift to get the rent money. And I found out very soon that I couldn't get enough, money for the shotgun at the pawn shop to pay the rent. So I'm driving around the east side of Denver. I got a loaded shotgun in the truck. I end up picking up a guy hitchhiking, a guy named Elliot. Elliot hops in. I take him to where he's going, and turns out he really doesn't have to be anywhere. So Elliot and I began riding around the east side of Denver and end up smoking some crack cocaine, drinking whiskey from a bottle. We got a loaded shotgun in the truck. What could possibly go wrong?
You drink whiskey from a bottle?
Yeah, I know. Shameful, right? But what happened is that within a couple of hours, in that state of inebriation and under the influence of drugs, we used that gun to hold 2 innocent men at gunpoint. Shortly thereafter, we were apprehended, and a couple of months later, I was in front of a judge, and I was sentenced to the state penitentiary for 10 years. I was 23 years old. I had never been arrested before. I'd never been in prison or jail before. I was a punk, to be sure, a 9th grade high school dropout, and an irresponsible garden variety loser. But I hadn't been involved in a criminal activity until that one night of really bad decisions.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.